New York, big city of dreams.
I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.
What's going on? It's J.Ellis from Nick of Time Show. I'm here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. You know what time it is. It's time to celebrate our new Knicks coach, man. Tom Thibodeau has joined the New York Knicks 5-year deal. Welcome to the squad, Tom Thibodeau.
Yes, sir. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Come on. But before we get into that, I have to introduce my man. The man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G in the building. Let's go.
Ryan.
Yes, sir.
So, Tom Thibodeau is the coach of the New York Knicks. Listen, man, he's done well for himself as an NBA coach. You can't deny
Most definitely.
You can't deny it. Came into the franchise with the Bulls. Guy had a 255 wins to 139 losses, 64% winning percentage. Posted a franchise best 86 consecutive game streak without losing more than 2 games.
Boom!
Come, bruh. He's coaching. He's coaching.
Yeah.
And listen, he's done all this winning while Derrick Rose was injured.
That is true.
Like Derrick Rose he missed a lot of seasons, man. He made like 3 seasons, Derrick Rose, and he still managed to find ways to win.
Yeah.
So Ryan, let's get into this pros list, man. What do you think is the benefit of having a guy like Tom Thibodeau here, man?
The first benefit, I believe, of having Tom Thibodeau here in New York is just the fact that he's a defensive coach. He's going to always preach defense first. Mm-hmm. And I believe his years in Chicago and Minnesota, because one of the knocks against him was during the time in Minnesota. Minnesota had some of the worst defensive teams in the league.
Right.
During that time, while they had some of the best offensive teams in the league.
Right.
And my thing is, if you go back to his time in Chicago, because I read some articles where they were comparing his time in Chicago and his time in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. When he was in Chicago, he had players that actually were defensive-minded, actually thought defense first.
Right. He had Taj, he had Joe.
Exactly.
Jimmy Butler, dogs.
Exactly. And the thing, and his coaching philosophy is basically, you take away the rim, and he doesn't necessarily guard the 3 that well. His philosophy is just take away the rim. That's like his number one goal.
Right.
Because, that's the high percentage shot, as opposed to the mid-range and the 3-point shot. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the stats, like throughout the years, like I think from 2010 to 2020, like the best defensive teams in the league, they all protect the rim very well.
Right. And
that is the basis of Tim Thibodeau's defense. Now with the Knicks, the Knicks actually has a rim protection, Mitchell Robinson, where he's a guy that can protect the rim. So I think Thibodeau's going to definitely like a guy like him on the roster.
Right.
And then on top of that, like in Minnesota, I feel like the reason why it didn't work in Minnesota was he didn't have great defensive players in Minnesota. He had Karl-Anthony Towns, where great offensive player, but defensively he's kind of sluggish.
Right.
Andrew Wiggins, same thing, good offensive player, but again, kind of sluggish. So he didn't have the right personnel in Minnesota. So now when he's trying to implement his defense, it's not going to work well if you don't have the players on the squad. But I think with the Knicks now, you have Robinson. Here you have Frank Ntilikina, where he's a good defensive guard. Mm-hmm. That's already 2 players right there that defensively they're going to put it in. They're going to put in the work.
Right.
We have RJ Barrett, where I think there's this false notion that young players cannot grow under Tom Thibodeau. But then when you look at like his career, like Derrick Rose flourished under him.
Mm-hmm. You know what, too? Pause right there.
All right.
Let me get back into the defense conversation because I feel like the defense conversation is the contention right now with people and Tom Thibodeau, because the thought is, wow, he's done really well in Chicago on the defensive end, but when he came to the Timberwolves, he wasn't able to translate that. Like you mentioned before, they were the top defense in Chicago.
Yeah.
Gets to the Timberwolves 28th in defense in 2015, 2016, 27th in defense in 2016, 2017, and 25th in defense when he was fired.
Yeah.
So then the conversation becomes, what happened in Chicago that didn't happen in Timberwolves? And like you said, a lot of that could be personnel.
Yeah.
Right? But also, maybe, just maybe, some of it could be the 3-point shot has taken over the league, and it might be some adjustments that have to be made to the defense. You're right. So it could be a little bit both. Because when you're looking at the footage of Karl Anthony Towns, and you seeing these examples of the ice coverage for the pick and roll,
which Minnesota ran real poorly.
Listen, if you've seen those videos, you can easily see where swapping Mitchell Robinson out for Cat. Swapping Cat out for Mitchell Robinson would instantly improve that defense dramatically. Because
exactly,
if the plan is to funnel the ball hand to the big and they're getting funneled to Mitchell Robinson, what was happening with Cat is not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Mitch might foul.
That's about it, though. There's only two outcomes: foul or block. It's either
block.
It's either
foul
one.
Or block. It's not gonna be a layup. It's not gonna be no valet to. It's not. It's gonna be not gonna be none of that. Interesting enough, though, reading about the ice defense and things as well. What it might not be to our benefit is, back in the day, there weren't as many 3-point shooting bigs, and sometimes, as of now in today's NBA, those 3-point shooting bigs can prevent other people from packing the paint and helping. Right now, you can kind of swing it to a 3-point shooting big and have things open up, and that can dismantle the ice defense a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see, can he adjust? Because while reading, what happened with the Timberwolves, it seems like Tom was hesitant to adjust the defensive schemes a little bit. The players there wanted to do more of a switching defense and less of an ice defense. And once they started to switch a little bit more and be more aggressive on the pick and roll and stop doing their drop coverage, which is another coverage that he likes to do, where the drop coverage when the big drops down instead of comes up and contests the shot or contests the guard at the 3-point line or whatever. Once they started doing that, the defense seemed to be picked up, but then we never saw where it went because Tom Thibodeau got fired.
Yeah.
So can Tom Thibodeau adjust to the times? Can he recognize if things aren't working and adjust accordingly on the defensive end? Is a question for me.
Yeah, most definitely. But I just think with Tom Thibodeau, he just needs the right horses to make it work. Because if he, like I said earlier, if he doesn't have the right players that have the mindset of defense and actually pay attention to detail and things like that, it's not going to work, because Thibodeau is a detail-oriented coach.
Absolutely.
Because if you read quotes from different players, they all say the same thing, that this guy writes a whole bunch of notes on the board and he's very detailed,
meticulous,
and all that. So you'd have to have the right mindset going in. Okay, you know what? I have to prepare every game. I have to watch film every game and know my opponent and things like that. But if you're gonna have players that's gonna slack and and be like, I don't have to watch game film like that, or tune out the notes and the talking. Because another thing that I read is that Thibodeau loves to talk. They say this guy talks on every possession. So I mean, I think you have to have a different kind of mindset to deal with a coach like Thibodeau.
Right, and that's another thing too. Maybe those young guys in the Timberwolves weren't cut from the real cloth, man. That could be it too. Maybe we've done a better job with drafting guys with character who will be able to take the tough coaching. I feel like RJ will be fine.
Yeah.
Taking the, I feel like Frank picks up so fast anyway. He's going to catch the schemes. Kevin Knox, who knows what's going to happen there. Julius Randle, who knows? But, you hope.
Yeah, hope.
You hope. You definitely hope. Continue on to your last point, Ryan. I think he was getting into the young guys.
Yeah, so I think there's a false narrative out there that Thibodeau doesn't really improve young guys, because you look at Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was an MVP under him. Mm-hmm. So clearly Derrick Rose grew under him, and then Derrick Rose was cut down by injuries, unfortunately. Then you had Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was looked at as a bench player when he first came to Chicago. And under Tom Thibodeau, he basically became an all-star.
Absolutely.
So I think there are cases that show that Thibodeau can grow young players. So I believe that RJ Barrett might grow under Thibodeau as well. The only thing is that Thibodeau's the type of coach where he plays a short rotation. So starters are going to get heavy minutes. Yeah. So the thing is that I think I saw a stat where they were showing the minutes discrepancy, like with the Knicks current roster and the last year he was in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And I think the player that played the most minutes, I believe, was it RJ Barrett, I believe?
On the Knicks?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I don't
have that stat in front of me.
But I know RJ played heavy minutes for sure.
Yeah, but the highest minute per game player on the Knicks had like 32 minutes a game. And under Thibodeau, they showed like the top player had 37 minutes a game. Like at least 3 players played 37 minutes a game. So the young guys are definitely going to get stretched out under Thibodeau, unless Thibodeau's going to change his philosophy and play the guys less starters minutes and play his bench more. That's a question that's going to be answered. But I believe that at least the young guys who are going to be starters for the Knicks,
right?
They're going to get the playing time that they need to improve.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It's kind of, that is a misconception. It's like a partial truth.
Yeah,
that's what that really is. It's a partial truth, because it's not that he doesn't play young guys. Because, like you said, Derrick Rose. Like I saw a list of minutes from young guys when he was on the Bulls. Derrick Rose, 36 minutes a game. Taj Gibson in the second season played 21 minutes a game. Toki Noah, 32. So even Lavine, 22 years old on the Timberwolves, he played 37 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins, 37 minutes a game. These are young guys.
Yeah.
Young guys. When you pull back and you look at it, it's less about the youth and more about who Tom trusts and who he sees promising. Because even Lavine, he talked about how Tom threw him the ball and let him go at 22 and let him play through certain mistakes, which was cool to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It
was cool to read. But I guess that's with every coach, but you at a certain point, you have to be more flexible. Maybe throw the ball out there for Kevin Knox a little bit. Maybe throw like some guys who's not. We have some guys who probably wouldn't get the minutes, who's not going to usually make your 8-man rotation because he likes to go 7-man.
Yeah.
Expand that a little bit towards 82 game season for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
I know you started talking about pros too, and I felt like we got into the cons and stuff. That's fine.
Yeah, a little bit.
Fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. But I'll keep going with a little bit too. The thing that I liked about Tom Thibodeau is, of course, the winning. He won in Chicago. He won with the Timberwolves a little bit, man. As much flack as he got with the Timberwolves didn't win a playoff in 14 years. Tom gets there, and first year they win 47 games. Not bad.
Yep.
Not bad at all. One thing that's surprising, though, not even surprising, but because Tom Thibodeau, Ryan, is thought of as a defensive coach, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you look at the track record, and you're like, interesting. The Bulls, after, all this talk about defense, they were like a top 10, a top 11 offensive team.
Yep.
Like, Thibodeau's offensive rating of the Bulls was 11th in his first season. Improved to 5th overall in his second season. And in his final season when he got fired. Now, people say he got fired because he went too much ISO. Derrick Rose needed help. That might be true because we watched those playoff games where they just triple teamed Derrick Rose and he was helpless.
Yep.
At the same time, though, his offense didn't really seem as bad as it might perceive because of his reputation as a defensive coach kind of might have clouded his offense a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of offense he's going to run to because he's run like a little bit of a modern triangle at times, and even pure triangle at times when I'm going through the videos.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what he does with Mike Miller, who also kind of ran some triangle, who also studied the Spurs offense, and see if those two can put their brains together and modernize the triangle even more, or add some more wrinkles, or expand the offense a little bit more. But he's done well, pretty much is what I'm saying, offensively, better than you think. Because even with the Timberwolves, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
The Timberwolves' problem was defense. It wasn't really offense.
No, it wasn't.
So like when Tom was there, they were 10th best in the league in the first season on offensive end. And then they were 13th when all the crazy stuff was happening with Jimmy Butler. And so all this talk about Tom being being a defensive guy, it seems like maybe there's a chance with the right personnel he can unlock an offense with the Knicks. And it also seems like maybe when you take a deeper look at Tom, he might be more flexible with the offense than anything. Because my biggest concern with Tom is, all right, cool, we have these guys who are young. They have to grow. They have to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We have Mitchell Robertson out here practicing his handling a little bit. He's shooting threes. Is he going to let my man Mitch let it fly?
I mean, if it was Kenny Atkinson or somebody like that, I would have been more confident about that. But actually, the offense is one of the cons I have about Tom Thibodeau, though. Because even though stats-wise, Bulls and Timberwolves show that he's pretty good on the offensive end, at the same time, I worry about his pace on offense, because he likes to slow down the pace on offense, like slowly bring the ball up the court and actually run sets and things of that nature. So I worry about that because I feel like with the roster the Knicks have, and they have a bunch of young guys,
definitely got to run.
Why don't you let them just run? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But so that's one of the concerns I have about Tom Thibodeau on the offense. And the other concern I have is the fact that his teams don't shoot a lot of threes, and in today's modern NBA, your team has to be able to, shoot a volume of threes and make at least a good percentage of them. So that also kind of worries me as well.
Right.
So if I have one con with Thibodeau, that's the one con I have.
I do have a counter. Not for the threes, though. The threes are a concern. I'm hoping he's open to experiment with Mitch a little bit if he's showing promise on that end. Because a shot blocking 3-point shooting big, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Can we have that again? Right? Like,
Yeah.
but my counter to that is as far as pace, how do you improve your pace? Defense.
That is true.
If you're bottom of the league in defense, how are you able to force turnovers and then go into fast breaks? I feel like that could be a huge reason why a lot of that stuff happened. Jeff Teague was getting killed on the defensive end.
Oh boy.
Cat was not exactly sending back shots into fast break. Like, there's a lot to not work with there.
Yeah.
And the same thing could be said about the Knicks, to be honest with you. At the same time, though, you still have to push the ball.
Yeah.
Push the ball on makes. That could be it too, but still.
Exactly.
That's a counter.
And I feel like if the Knicks push the pace too, that's going to fully utilize RJ Barrett, because RJ Barrett's great on the break as well.
Absolutely.
That'll get RJ Barrett easy basket, and then you hope that'll get him going to the point where on offense in sets that he'll be able to get baskets as well. So, I'm all for a coach where he's going to implement a faster pace of play. But, like you said too, if the Knicks play defense and force turnovers and things of that nature, then they'll be able to get on the break enough to where they'll get easy baskets same way. So
right, exactly. But at the same time, dude, I am afraid of 3-point, of him not being able to be willing to let 3-pointers fly. I know his philosophy is he likes to have controlled 3-pointers. He just wants to jack it up. Like, when reading how he likes his offense, he likes to get his shots at the rim, at the foul line, and the corner threes. That's where he likes to get his shots. Speaking of corner threes, Free Dot shot over 40% from corner threes in his career. Just saying. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to throw that out there. But yeah. So, I mean, it is a concern, but you hope that his other strength that I'm about to mention helps him overcome that. And his other strength, to me, is that he is just a student of the game. Right? Like, he studied under Jeff Van Gundy. He does his homework. He's a videotape guy. He's a hard-nosed vet. Somebody joked that he's not married. Like, this guy is not married. And I said, no, sir. He is married. He's married to the game. It's all about basketball with this man.
Facts.
It's all about basketball with this man. Like, what else is there to do? Ball is life. I'm getting that tatted.
Word.
So because this guy has such a work ethic, during his time off not being a head coach, he's been working with Team USA. He's been attending like analytics conferences. He's been going to the teams like the Miami Heat. Miami Heat likes to shoot threes a lot. He's been, with Doc Rivers and them in LA. So you hope that he's taking some of those philosophies, updating his thinking, and is able to bring that thinking to the Knicks organization. Also, I'm hoping that Leon Rose used these interviews correctly to collect some intel from these other coaches, add that to the pool. Please, I hope that works for us. I hope that's how it works, right?
I hope so.
Especially this Kenny Atkinson and Chris guy from the Bulls who orchestrated the Nets offense.
Exactly. We definitely need some of that offense.
Yes.
Bring it to New York.
And won championships overseas with his motion offense. I hope they picked this brand because I was very curious about that.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely. I hope in the student of the game thing help us all out, and he's able to adjust, man, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
And what I also want to, I hope, is he's able to progress some of the talents of these guys, man. So, Ryan, I have another question for you. When it comes to Tom Thibodeau, he's helped out guys like Derrick Rose. He's helped out Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah was a passer. You didn't know he could pass. And all of a sudden,
yeah.
Who do you feel like Tom can help out most on his team?
It's interesting. If I have to think about it, I believe he's going to be able to help out mainly guys like Mitchell Robinson. Like I can see Mitchell Robinson going under him, but more so on the defense side of the ball. I feel like he'll make Mitchell Robinson more effective as a big man and guarding the paint and things of that nature. And I don't know, this might shock some people, but I also feel like Frank Ntilikina is going to grow under him as well.
I don't think that's shocking. I think people are with you. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, because I know the reason I say it's shocking is because people have mixed feelings about Frank. Like, everybody's not really on board with Frank. It's either some people are like, Frank is, he's a good player, and other players and the other Knicks fans are like, yeah, Frank, let's get rid of him and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like Frank is like, quote unquote, prototypical point guard that Thibodeau likes to use to, like, on defense to guard opposing point guards and to be a point of attack on defense. So I feel like those two players have a great chance to grow under Thibodeau, and I think RJ Barrett will too, because Thibodeau's going to give him the minutes that's needed for RJ Barrett to really get into the game and just ball out. So I feel like those are the three players. I think it's gonna be Mitch, Frank, and RJ, to be honest.
I hope so. I definitely hope so. I mean, and you know what? I will say this about Frank. Tibbs likes those. He can definitely help Frank out. I wouldn't say Frank is his typical point guard though, because Frank isn't like that. He's used to a Derrick Rose. He's used to an engine run down the hill, break you down.
Yeah, I meant more like on the defense side. Like if he had to like choose a point guard on the defensive side of the ball, it would probably be a point guard like Frank. Yeah,
definitely. But I definitely think people been throwing out that Jimmy Butler comparison for RJ. It's like they're hoping that he can turn RJ into a Jimmy Butler type of player, and I'll be all for that. I definitely think he can help Mitch Robinson as well.
Yeah,
I have a guy that I have a shocker actually that you won't expect me to say. Nobody will. That he can possibly help.
I think I have a feeling who it is, but I just want to hear you say it though.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I don't care. Kill me. I don't give a damn. Julius Randle, man.
Oh, no handle Randle. Oh,
no
man.
handle Randle, man. Listen. There is a possibility that he can unlock something. Listen. If he can rein in Randle, that would be great.
I say give that man a raise.
Right, give that man a raise. Everybody is mad at his handles and his decision making and da. He's one of the as frustrating as he is one of the most talented guys on the team. Right?
Yeah.
Tom Thibodeau might be that guy to get in his ear. The way he holds people accountable, he might be what Randle needs, man. Especially on the defensive end. You see it. You see when Randle is engaged defensively, one-on-one, he's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like he's big as hell and can stay in front of anybody when his mind is set. And if Thibodeau can bring that out of him for a longer period of time, that would be ideal for sure. So I'm gonna see what happens.
I gotta wait and see.
I still want to stretch 4. in the starting lineup. I don't foresee it happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's my wish. Just because it's too much politics and money and that feelings that happens if you try to either trade him or move. Might be too early to trade him. Might be too damaging to the locker room to move him to the bench because of the money, and he's a veteran and all the intangibles that happen when you're dealing with personalities and not 2K lineups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm hoping. Please, Lord. Please.
I hope so too. But you know what I find funny though? Can you imagine what Taj Gibson is thinking right now? Cause this man is like, yo, I played for this man in Chicago. Then I went to Minnesota.
Hey.
I played for this man again. I went to New York, and now I'm playing for this guy for a third time.
I'm telling you, man, Derrick Rose .2. So Derrick Rose is coming. Derrick Rose is coming back. Tom is like, so what do you think about Derrick Rose?
Yeah.
I know that's what he's saying in the meeting. I know it. And guess what?
Oh man.
And guess what, Tom? This is in the cons. That's why you got fired.
Word.
That's why you got fired, because my man's tried to be your GM, take over, end up trading, Zach Lavine for Jimmy Butler and all this other stuff, and it all bit him in the ass. It bit him in the ass.
Word.
No, you can't do that. You can't overpay for Andrew Wiggins and Chris Dunn.
Exactly.
And then trade Lavine and marketing for Jimmy Butler and only for Jimmy Butler to leave.
Nah.
And that is why I'm hopeful. I hope I'm warming up to the idea a little bit more that the Knicks' new front office with this analytics department and the guys who seems like they'd be able to put together certain teams, like the guy who, like my man Sean did with the Cavs. I'm hoping all these moving pieces with the collaboration of Tom Thibodeau will actually move us in the right direction. I'm hoping. But moving on, speaking of ex-Tom Thibodeau players.
Yes, sir.
Zach Lavine. Zach Lavine, he's kind of fond of Tom. Despite being traded by the man.
Mm-hmm.
He bigged him up. He was like, man, listen, this guy, he drew the ball in my hands. He let me play. 22 years old. Let me do my thing.
Word.
Coincidentally, in the paper, Ian Begley is answering mailbags and he's talking about, possible trade scenarios or people the Knicks might be interested. And he revealed that the Knicks and the Nets have both done their homework on Zach Lavine. Things that make you go, So, and I spoke to my guy CP about this on Knicks Fan TV, and he believes that, there's no way we try to get Lavine and da-da-da. And I'm just like, I'm not so sure about that, CP. I don't think that is the case at all. I do feel like the Knicks have big guns here like Worldwide West and Leon Rose to make a splash, to make a move. I don't think it's just all of a smokescreen. I'm not saying he's definitely coming, but I do believe that they will look into it. And if he ends up being a Knick with the Tom Thibodeau ties, with his contract, Zach Lavine's contract expiring in 2022, with the direction the Bulls are going in and him might not be necessarily being happy with it, I can see a scenario when that happens. The question is, would you do it?
It depends on who the Knicks are giving up. And there was a trade scenario that you presented to me earlier today through an article where someone actually, I think it was a Bulls page, right?
Like it was a Bulls page.
Like that. Yeah, and they were saying that it's possible where the Knicks could give up their 2021 picks, and that's the draft that everybody's expecting to be crazy. So Knicks have
ouch.
Yeah, so Knicks have to give up both of their 2021 picks, so their own and the Mavericks that they own, for Zach Lavine and a couple other Bulls players. So looking at that trade now, it's like, okay, you're giving up only 2 first-round picks and Kevin Knox.
I already know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, one more season for Kevin Knox, one more season to prove himself, one more.
On the clock, there, boy.
Exactly. So, okay, so you're giving up 2 first-round picks and Kevin Knox for a player that averages basically over 25 points a game. He's a rising young star. He's not bad feasing in. He's not a bad 3-point shooter. He shoots 38% from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Shoots 49% from the field overall. And then on top of that, dude's a high flyer where the dude's gonna light up the garden with some huge dunks and all that.
Yeah.
To me, it's like I'd probably pull the trigger on that. Do I think Zach Lavine's a player that he could be like the leading scorer on a championship team?
That's the
No,
question.
I don't believe that. At least he hasn't proven it so far in his young career. But do I think Zach Lavine can be a viable piece where if you put him with R.J. Barrett and another player, possibly where the Knicks could actually become a very good team? I do believe that's possible. So if it's me, I'm pulling the trigger on that. Bring Zach Lavine to New York. Let's go. Let's do it.
Woo! Man, I'm not gonna lie, Ryan. I'm not gonna lie. If it's 2 first-round picks and Knox, that's a tough thing to say no to.
That's what I'm saying.
That's tough.
Tough to say no.
25 points a game. I know he's not a superstar. The biggest thing is, how nice are you, Tom? How nice, Tom? How nice are you? How? Because listen, Tom. Listen. Every team you've been to, Tom, you brought them to the playoffs. Every single one. First year. Right? Every single one. Granted, it's only 2 teams. That's only 2 teams. But
Word.
you hear what I'm saying, right? You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Ryan, if that happens and we're in the lottery again,
Yeah.
in a draft that's supposed to be one of the best drafts in years,
It's gonna hurt.
I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be
It's
sick,
gonna hurt.
Ryan.
It's gonna hurt.
I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick, Ryan.
It's gonna hurt.
Because we're going to go down the line of all the draft picks that we traded for some guys who didn't.
I just think it's a risk. It's a risk that has to be taken, especially if the Knicks end up getting like a LaMelo Ball in the draft
I'm
too.
getting anxiety.
But I'm just saying, like, I think it's a risk that has to be taken, especially if the Knicks draft someone like LaMelo Ball. So can you imagine like LaMelo Ball, RJ Barrett, and Zach Lavine in the same lineup? That might be formidable. That might be formidable right there.
I mean, that's true. If LaMelo, does RJ and Lavine fit together seamlessly?
Well, it's an experiment. I'm willing to try. It's an experiment.
Is it my turn? Your turn? Basketball with those two? Is it my?
It might be, but
I understand. It's tempting, man. It's tempting.
Yeah,
it's tempting, y'all. It's definitely tempting. I don't know, man. That could be it. Let me know what we get. Let me go in and get it in the off season, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, but I think
if we end up doing something like we end up getting Chris Paul, who's made every team better he's ever been to ever, draft LaMelo. All right, that's a playoff team. I mean, Chris Paul anywhere is a playoff team, regarding if he's not in, because he's still like 57 years old.
Yeah,
so he might get injured and that could go up and smoke again. But damn, I might be with you, Ryan. Yo, I might be with you, dog.
I mean that's a young core right there. But I mean it's gonna depend on who the Knicks draft though. Like I said, if it's like a LaMelo Ball and then you have LaMelo who's like what 19, I think he's going to be this year. Then you have RJ Barrett. What is he like 20?
The thing is, LaMelo, I'm not expecting LaMelo to be super nice this year either, though. That's the other
well, of course it's going to take LaMelo time. I'm just talking about the young core.
Right.
Then like
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, then Zach Lavine is going to be. Well, I don't know Zach Lavine's age, but I know that he's a young 22. So I mean, right there, you're going to have 3 players that you could possibly grow with within the next, I don't know, 5-6 years or whatever. So.
Right. Zach Lavine is 25.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, he's still young, so
I get it. Okay, all right. I'm nervously. I think I might go with you, man. In that scenario, in that
specific one
scenario,
yeah.
2 first rounders and Kevin Knox. A high first, a lower first.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, that might for a guy who averages 25, shoots 38% from 3, and I might do that. All right,
yeah. and you got to think about it this way too. Maybe the Knicks can finesse, their way to getting a first round pick that same season, by pulling off another trade possibly and bringing in a first round pick. So you never know. It might still work out to where the Knicks might get a 2021 first round pick.
Nah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I can see that happening. All right. You know what? I'm gonna change the topic. I'm gonna change it. There is no topics today, really. We done with topics, but so we just gonna get into it, man. We just gonna get into it.
All right.
Time for our favorite part of the show. Ooh picks. There's no there is basketball, but
there is basketball. But there's no Knicks basketball.
There's no Knicks basketball. As a rule on the Nick of Tom show, we do not big up other teams.
Not in the ooh picks.
We only laugh at them.
Nah.
So bruh picks maybe. Ooh picks. No, we ain't doing that. But ooh picks are best plays of the week usually for the Knicks, but there is no Knicks basketball. So I'm cheating again. I'm just going. Listen, man, it's Mitch World. Mitch is posting all these highlights. He's killing all his high school friends.
Word.
Dude is doing the sham god, dog. Dude is between the legs, sham god, go to the hole, dunk. Come.
Dudes look like a 7-foot shooting guard out there, yo.
Dude is doing dribble moves, step back, 3-point shot. That's all I gotta say.
I'll never understand it because the NBA is funny. Like, I know everybody plays a role, but it's just the fact that like some of these guys are way nicer than they look like on the court, but the teams just won't unleash them the way that they're supposed to be unleashed. It's funny.
They're trying to build them up slowly and get them to do the fundamentals and rolling to the basket and timing and picks and in there. That's cool. That's cute. I like it.
Yeah.
This season, he doesn't have to sham guard nobody. That's fine. Ryan, if he sham guard somebody in the game, I am screaming.
Yo.
I'm going to go nuts.
Yo, if he sham got somebody in the game, that would be my ooh pick for the next 5 to 6 weeks.
I'll go in
That would be my ooh pick, yo.
What the? Oh my god! I don't even think about it.
Word.
Oh man, that's my ooh. That's it. I have nothing. I already know you have nothing. I'm not even gonna ask you.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no Knicks game, so I was like, well, what am I gonna really ooh pick about? Like,
exactly. But I don't know if you have any of these.
I definitely got broads though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it. Let's get it. Now, the other part of our show, bruh picks for guys that don't know. Worst plays of the week, stupidest plays of the week. Doesn't have to be a play. It just be something stupid that just happened in life. Ryan.
Yes, sir.
I like to call Ryan bruh man in the fifth row. Because he usually has mad bro picks.
So as you know, NBA basketball is back.
Yeah.
And as you know, these guys have not been playing ball for like the past 2 to 3 months. And so there's some rust.
Little tiny.
My first bro pick goes to CJ McCollum. Blazers versus the Pacers. So CJ McCollum is playing off ball. He makes a back cut on his defender, wide open. His teammate passes him the ball. He catches it. Nobody between him and the rim. He rises up. Clink! Off the rim.
I missed the classic Sprite dunk with nobody around.
Yup.
It's all right. It's the bubble.
Exactly. It's a bubble,
game.
you know.
Get it off. It's like,
You know,
Preseason.
do they play ball in 2 to 3 months? It's understandable. It's understandable.
Yes, but still, catch his bro.
Yeah. And my next bro pick goes to Lou Williams.
Lou. Oh!
Because my guy asked for permission to leave the bubble to attend a family emergency. My guy goes to handle his family emergency, but before he comes back to the bubble, my guy decided to stop by Magic City to get something to eat.
Hey. Oh man. Busted. Now he has to miss 2 games in the playoffs, I believe. It's 2 games.
Exactly. He has to quarantine for 10 days just because my guy could not resist the temptation of going to Magic City to get something to eat and see some booty.
Oh my god. The Magic. Oh my god. I mean, listen, Ryan, if you're going to take an L,
exactly.
You might as well see Magic.
Might as well.
Exactly.
Might as well.
Any way to take an L, that's the way to go down, bro.
Word.
That's the way.
Oh man.
Oh god. Oh, Lou.
Yes, and
you better not lose because you went to Magic. Oh my god. Who snitched? LeBron snitched. I know LeBron snitched. Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah. And that is the bro picks I have for this week.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Dope, man. Yo, that is our show, man. That's all. Quick and easy, man.
Word.
Listen, you can listen to us on SoundCloud.com/TicketTimeShow, YouTube.com/TicketTimeShow. You can find us on Google Play, Stitcher, all that noise. See us on the TicketTimeShow.com and see our articles and stuff like that. Shout out to Dash Radio, man. Shout out to Dash Radio.
Yes, sir. Dash.
Yeah, shout out to you guys for the support. Been here for years. And you can also follow us on social media at thekltshow.com. I mean, the KLT Show on Twitter. I'm sorry. The Knick Time Show on Instagram. And follow us on Facebook too. We cool over here.
Yes, sir.
But that is our show. You can also follow me personally on Instagram. Shout out to you guys who actually choose to do that. I am at J.Ellis Draw Stings. That's J-E-L-L-I-S Draw Stings. No $ ads, no special characters, straight up. You can see some artwork, stuff before it hits the streets, t-shirts, whatever. Motion graphics, whatever. All that stuff. Where can they find you, Ryan?
That is SIR. G is CHILLIN.
That's our show.
Yeah, we out.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams.
I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.